local news.
Yes, we've had a look back all this week at some of the stories that have made the headlines. But tonight, it's what we all like talking about, the weather. Isn't it, Holly?
It's all I ever get asked about. We have, of course, seen lots of changes over the last 25 years, both in technology and in weather presenters. Take a look at this.
Calmer today. Some decent spells of sunshine, but still
tonight's picture taken across Romney Marsh.
We've seen many weather faces over the past 25 years, but it was Carl Tyler who forecast that first Meridian weather back in 1993.
Hey, Carl, nice to meet you. Welcome back to Meridian.
And Mr. Misty Murky returned to the studios to reminisce about those early days.
So I've brought you into the edit suite and I thought we could have a look at your first ever broadcast
not
for
the
Meridian.
first one.
Yes, I've got it here. Here we go.
Warmer temperatures have certainly caused us problems in the last 24 hours. We've had rain, we've had sleet, we've had snow.
Have you still got that suit?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's still in the wardrobe. I wouldn't be surprised.
But anyway. So have you got any stories from when you were broadcasting?
There was one when I got into a lot of trouble with my wife.
Well, we're live back to the Balloon Festival on Southampton Common, and Carl is standing by. Over to you, Carl.
We're standing by here ready for a launch because it's an absolutely perfect evening this evening, a nice gentle breeze. And they said, we're going to tether you and you can do your forecast. Did the forecast and I thought, that camera's getting a bit further away.
Bye-bye.
Cheerio, Carly. See you on Monday.
And they'd undone the tether.
Oh, no.
And it was about an hour and a half later before we landed. So I was about 3 hours late getting home in the evening, which didn't go down very well, I'm afraid.
Bet it didn't.
Since he started his career back in the 1950s, Carl has seen many changes in technology. This was the Met Office in Bracknell in 1994.
So is this what you used to do?
Yeah.
Draw it up by hand?
Oh, yeah.
Is that a weather model? Is that what you're looking at there?
That is a weather model, yeah. He's actually put what he thinks all the rain's going to be and all the rest of it on it.
That looks remarkably similar nowadays.
It does.
Although our computer screens are a little bit flatter than that now.
Yes.
So this is the system I use nowadays. So this is my forecasting system and this is my graphics system. So I use this to look at satellite radar, computer models, observations, all that sort of thing. And then move over to this to create my show for the night.
And you put your show together on this one?
Yes. Is this like the sort of system
Very
you used to
similar.
use? Is it?
Yeah.
But you must have seen massive changes over your career.
I started in the Met Office in 1958. If we could get the forecast right 12 hours ahead, that was considered exceptional. If you got it right 24 hours ahead, you had a drink because you did damn well. You really did.
Now, Fred tells me that you used to have a bit of a catchphrase.
There's no rain on it, but it does mean a misty and murky start to the day. Weather forecasting on the television was extremely formal, and I tried to loosen it up a bit. And misty and murky was one of my catchphrases. And in fact, I even had cats named after Misty and Murky.
So I get my whole own studio, green screen of course, and I thought for old time's sake you might like to have a little go at presenting the weather.
For a laugh?
Yeah.
All right, then go on.
I won't hold you to the forecast.
What's
obviously. So this is your clicker, so that's the button you need to press.
Press
there.
that button.
We're looking obviously into the camera over there.
Yeah.
And you can see where you're pointing back here.
Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Let's make sure I'm on the spot.
Okay.
Right, good morning all. I think we're in for some cold weather again, but it's going to be changeable as we go through this week. Frost and ice, that's today. Be very careful, but it's going to be a beautiful day. Over the next few days, we're going to have the sunshine. Most places, watch out for Friday. I think there may be 1 or 2 sleety showers around. Nothing very much, but for most of us, it's going to be dry. The sunshine will be there. Look at those temperatures, only 5 and 6. So watch out. You could well find night frosts, so be very careful on those roads. That's all from me now. Cheers.
So no specks or spots or your best temperatures here, Carl Tyler. We had some really good laughs, but we also have incredibly fond memories of another chap, a chap called Martyn Davies, smooth Martyn Davies, on our screens for many years with the local and national forecasts. I am delighted to say we can join him again now in Australia, of all places. Martyn, lovely to see you again. You left us for life down under. How are things? How's it going? You're looking great.
It's going pretty well, Fred. We're very happy out here. We do miss home, of course. We miss friends and family, get back there as often as we can to visit them. But life in Australia is pretty good. When I was working on the national weather, I'd be doing 2 hours commuting in the morning and 2 hours in the evening. And now it takes us an 8-minute drive along the beach road to get to work. So, yeah, it's turned out pretty well.
Martyn, you've got a stunning balcony there, and rumour has it you've got a vineyard very close by. Is that right? Where are you near?
Well, we're in a town called Narooma, Narooma, so people can Google that. It is a very beautiful place. It's on the south coast of New South Wales, so about a 5-hour drive south of Sydney. So it's very rural, but very, very beautiful.
Martyn, you were always a weather favourite, and you covered the weather in our region for many years. What big stories stood out for you?
Well, I think the biggest one was before Meridian started, of course, the hurricane that wasn't a hurricane in '87. That was the most dramatic thing for any forecaster to live through at that time. I'd been on the weather forecast the evening before, and we'd talked about, strong storms, that sort of thing, particularly over the top. But I was awoken at about 2 in the morning, I think, by a strange noise, and I flipped the curtains open to watch the neighbour's tool shed go up in the air and come down in my garden. And I knew at that moment that it hadn't gone quite to plan, so we were in for a bit of trouble the next day. But more recently, I think, in my years with Meridian, it was actually the last few months before I left to come to Australia that I remember really well. That was in 2012, and the start of the summer, the sort of spring into the summer, April, June, July, they were all incredibly wet. We had the wettest 3 months, I think, for 100 years or so.
I remember that well. It was my first year presenting the weather, and it was a drop in at the deep end. It was, an unbelievable year. It's very exciting to talk to you because I grew up watching you. How do you think the job of a weather presenter has changed over the last 25 years?
It's changed quite dramatically, hasn't it, really? I mean, even though I'm 1,000 years old, the forecasts were pretty much computer-based by then, so we were working from the computer model. And, of course, the vast advances in weather forecasting have come hand in hand with the increase in speed of computer power. So not a lot has changed in that sense. The models are much more accurate. I know during my period on TV, the 3-day forecasts became as accurate as the 24-hour forecasts that used to be. And now we're in a situation in your time where the 5-day forecasts are becoming as accurate as the 3-day forecasts used to be. So it's fantastic advance. And the other thing, of course, is we used to have 3 broadcasts a day. I could come off air at lunchtime, suddenly discover that the weather was changing dramatically and there was a huge thunderstorm about to hit the region. But I wouldn't be able to tell people until I was on air at 6:30 or something, by which time it will have all happened. So that was very frustrating, whereas now you've got social media and the weather apps and things like that. So you can bring people up to date the instant things look like they might change.
That's so true. I think social media has been great for weather forecasting and keeping people up to date. But do you think it makes people more demanding, and do you think it puts more pressure on weather forecasters?
I think it does, and it should. The science is advancing, the technology is advancing. We should be getting better at our job, and they should have high expectations, and we need to try and fill them.
Do you miss us, or do you never think about us?
I think about you often, and of course, social media, I see posts from friends back there, and I do miss you, of course.
Martyn, good day, Cobber, and a very happy new year, and lovely to see you again.
Cheers, mate.
G'day, Martyn. Wasn't it so lovely to see him? And many more Meridian memories coming up in coming weeks.